Hi, welcome to the My Yoga podcast. My name is Marta.
And I'm Zoe.
And we're here to talk about the themes at the yoga studio for the month of August. I can't believe it's August already.
Stop. I was just thinking about how I'm so tired of people being like, summer is over. I feel like I keep hearing people say that over and over again. Summer's not over yet. It's August.
I know.
We're still in summer. Sorry if that's you, if you're one of those people.
Someone literally, I told you this, but someone literally said they felt like it was fall already because kids are back in school. And I was like, no.
That's not it.
No, I can't handle that.
It's still summer.
Anyways, it's still summer at the yoga studio. We follow the calendar based on the planets, right? So it is summertime up until the fall equinox, which is September 21st. So we're still in full summer here at the studio. And our theme for this month, kind of inspired by summertime, and we still are at a point in summer where there's a lot of sunshine. The sun is out a lot. We get blasted by the sun in both, in the ways that we love, and sometimes it's a little intense. But that is kind of inspiring the theming for this month in a lot of ways. So our monthly theme for this month is being radiant. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so being radiant is letting light extend outward. Isn't that right? Yeah.
Sending your light out, sending energy out.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually really perfect I'm always tying everything into astrology, but it's Leo season right now.
Oh, yeah.
And Leo is ruled by the sun, and Leo is this very radiant and vibrant sign and about courage and putting your energy out there. So it's perfect in a lot of ways. I don't even know if you did that on purpose with it aligning with Leo season.
It's my secret.
Oh. Well, anyway, that is what radiance is, or radiant energy is, sending energy outward.
Yes. Yeah, and so, we think about that a lot with the sun. It's actually the first theme for this month is Surya, which is Sanskrit for the sun. And the sun sends out its rays constantly, whether it's trying to or not. It's just an inherent part of the sun. Its light is traveling thousands of, so many, more than thousands, but billions of light years away to get to the earth and to reach us and to send us positivity and growth and nutrients and all the things that we need to live and to survive. We wouldn't exist without the sun. So we're relating that in a lot of ways to, if we imagine ourselves like our own little sun. I've been talking about that in class this week a lot, like kind of finding your own sun or power within yourself. What energy are we sending out to those around us? Because it's very impactful. The energy that we carry transfers to others, and in turn, the energy that others carry transfers to us. And we can choose to take in that energy from other people. We can also choose to kind of navigate what energy it is that we want to be putting out into the world. One of the ways that we're talking about that is through this practice of Pratik-Pasha Bhavana, which is to cultivate the opposite. Do you want to expand on that a little bit, or would you like me to?
Why don't you tell them about what it is, and then I will share a little bit more. I'll dive a little bit deeper.
Cool. So Pratik-Pasha Bhavana, cultivating the opposite, is the practice that whenever a negative thought enters the mind, we replace that thought with something else that is more positive. So I like to talk about this one a lot because I think it can be confused sometimes with just always being optimistic. That's not really the same thing. Optimism is more about having this hopeful sense for the future always. It's kind of like, well, this thing really stinks right now, but it might turn around and be this good thing in the end. And that's not really the same idea. When we cultivate the opposite, when a negative thought comes into our mind, rather than focusing on that negative thought continuously, which can kind of perpetuate those feelings within us, we try to replace it with something that is similar but different, so related and positive. So you might think to yourself, the world is really challenging right now, and I'm overwhelmed by the things that are outside of my control. I can't deal with all of this anxiety, rather than focusing incessantly on that thought. It's important to be aware of that, but rather than focusing on that constantly, bringing this sense of kind of doom and gloom and negativity into us, we can replace that with the good things that we do have in our life. So maybe focusing on, that is really terrible, but also I'm surrounded by people that I love. I'm surrounded by good community. I have a home that I get to go home to. I have a job that I enjoy going to. Whatever those things are, we focus on those to help uplift us and help us to navigate those dark spaces. So we're bringing light where there is darkness, much like the sun, the bringer of light, the remover of darkness, is sending us its light. So how does that show up in your life? Because I know we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say, I think this concept is really cool because, like, how you were comparing it to optimism, optimism feels more like just kind of a hopefulness, whereas this cultivating the opposite is more like intention and action oriented, and actually helps you like change your mindset towards
it gives a sense of power.
Yeah, so I feel like I do this in a lot of ways. I feel like I'm always intentionally trying to focus on the good things that I have in my life, especially when things get hard. I actually wrote out a few years ago what my personal values are, and one of them was remembering to show gratitude, especially during hard times. So I just think that fits really well with this concept. But an actual example of where I think that I did this without even knowing that this was a thing was in 2020. I was having some of the worst anxiety I've ever had in my life, like having consistent panic attacks and just feeling like I wasn't in control of myself or my body or my thoughts. And I remember just being like, I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this. And so I got out my journal and I started writing down affirmations that were empowering, that were telling me that my anxiety didn't actually have control over me, that I was in control of the situation. I was in control of my body. I was in control of my thoughts. And it's actually crazy how much of an impact it had on me. But it wasn't just in that moment that I felt that. I had to keep coming back to that also. When it would come up for me, I was like, okay, pull out the affirmations. What do I say to myself to get myself out of this? But it actually did work. And after some time, it was like I was rewiring my thoughts to actually believe that that is my reality.
Yeah. Which is, it's really cool that you're able to do that. I mean, the mind is so powerful, and gosh, it has the ability to manipulate so much of how we perceive life and how we walk through life and the experience that we have in this life, which a lot of that is up to us. But I really like that you said that wasn't just like a fix-all scenario. It wasn't like, I'm done, I said my affirmations, and you know, that's maybe not easy to hear for all of us, but yoga is a lifelong practice. Yoga gives us the tools to be able to handle things, and whether you knew you were practicing yoga in that moment or not doesn't really matter. It was there for you, and now that you are aware that that is a tool that you have in your tool belt, it's something that you can always come back to when life does get hard. Because without those things, life is just hard. And we don't really have any way to sail our ship and to navigate through the stormy seas. So we need to be able to have things on our team that help us get through to the other side and find the sunny sky on the other side.
Cute. Team. I just love that you said it like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that this shows up for us. One way you can relate it a lot in your life too is, so another theme that we have this month is abaya, which is fearlessness. And I know you were really excited about that theme.
Yeah.
Finding the courage in our life, the ability to overcome our fear and to act without fear. And I also really love abaya. Fear is important, right? It's not that we shouldn't be fearful of things, because if we weren't fearful of things, we wouldn't have made it to this point in evolution. It is
Right.
smart to be fearful of things. It is wise to have a deep respect for things that are more powerful than you, that can be dangerous to you, et cetera, et cetera. And also, fear can be really, it can be like a prison in a lot of ways. And fear controls our thoughts and can bring things about like anxiety. And it's often why we have to pull those tools out of our tool belt and work through things like cultivating the opposite, because a lot of times those negative thoughts are fueled by fear. They're coming from a place of fear. I know somewhere that I experienced that in my life is I have an incredible fear of heights. It is rather halting in a lot of ways, and it has kept me from doing a lot of things in my life that I want to do. Some of them are simple, like getting on a ladder and cleaning my gutters, which you just have to do that sometimes. And some of them are things that help me live my life to the fullest. I really love hiking, and my husband and I both really love hiking, and there's a lot of places I want to go, but there's been times where I've been like, I cannot go any further because I am being blocked by a wall of fear. And a lot of times it's not as scary as I think it is once I get myself through it, but I kind of have to put the practice of Pratik Pasha Bhavana into place and think, you can do this. You've done things like this before. A bunch of people have done this before you. And like, you're gonna come out on the other side, it's gonna be fine. On the other side, there's this beautiful view. You're gonna feel really good about yourself. And that's something I've like slowly been working through one step at a time. And
Yeah.
it feels good. It feels good to do that. And one of our quotes this month, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's own courage, which is by Anais Nin, is such a beautiful example of that, because the anxieties or the fears that we have can really limit the experiences that we have in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I experience the energy that you're talking about with your fear of heights, but with other things. I feel like a lot of times my fears will have to do with like putting myself out there, like putting myself in the public eye. And I guess maybe that roots from a fear of like my people's perceptions of me,
Yeah.
or wanting people to not think negatively, or things like that. But a lot of times I do that same thing where I'm like, well, what's the worst that could happen if I do this? Also, what happens if I don't do it? Like, is there a worse alternative if I choose to not do it? If I choose to not put myself out there for this opportunity, how am I limiting myself? Am I just gonna stay in the same place and not grow? So yeah, no, those two are very tied together, and can be applied in so many different ways. And pretty much, I don't want to say all fears, but a lot of them, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. And again, fear is important. We have fear for a reason. And it's also important to note that not every time we're fearful is the time to overcome the fear, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just not ready for it. And I think that's also okay to recognize. Sometimes you're like, I want to do this, but this isn't the day. But it's going to come, and I'm going to be ready for it when it's there, which is a lot about knowing yourself. But eventually, if we want to move further in life and we want to expand our horizons, we have to be able to step through those barriers at some point in time, as long as they're reasonable. It's not like sticking your hand in a cage with a tiger.
It's really funny. I laughed because I was thinking about how the last apartment I lived in had cockroaches, and sorry if anyone has like
that.
if anyone has like a big fear of cockroaches, I'm so sorry. But I do, and I also just think they're really gross, because they are really gross. And I had some terrible moments where I was just like, I'm not ready to work through this. Like I had that exact thing where I would like see one crawling on my counter, and I was like, nope. I didn't see that. That's not there. I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna go out the door now. I'm not staying here.
You know what I think is like, I mean, I'm kind of laughing about that because I've had similar situations before with that. I've been trying to get more comfortable with spiders actually, because I used to be very scared of them. And the thing about radiance and how your energy radiates out and other people's energy radiates towards you is I find that there's certain situations where I'm around other people and I'm like, you know what I don't want to be perceived as right now is someone who's afraid of this bug. And I don't want that energy to be sent to other people.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fear of someone's perceptions can actually encourage you to move a little bit further. You can be like, no, I want to be bold and I want to be brave and I'm going to handle this calmly. And it's funny how you can be in those situations, and depending on who else you're around, it can either continue to antagonize your fear if other people are also like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous about that thing, or it can kind of embolden you in ways to be like, no, I'm going to deal with this right now. And that can be impactful to the people around you too.
That's totally true. And it's so funny how I was just saying, like, people's perceptions of me tends to be something that I'm fearful of, but yet I find myself in situations like that, and then I choose the like more bold way of doing it. Like, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do it because people are watching me. So
it's a challenge sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that fearlessness can actually push us sometimes into new territory that helps us grow in a lot of ways, which is why the fear is important and why managing the fear is important, and being able to step into that sense of positivity about whatever the situation is. Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to share?
Keep on radiating. Keep on letting that light shine outward.
Seriously, please do, because it's infectious. It's very contagious.
It is. Be like the sun.
Yeah.
I guess one last thing, just because I really liked this, I liked your example that you wrote about the sun and its energy, how we always have that one like random warm day in the middle of winter, and how it just makes everyone like a different person. Like everyone's energy just immediately uplifts and everyone feels more positive. We just have more energy all around. So that's a good way to think of this radiant energy.
Yeah. And you can have that impact on other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard for me to be bummed out when I'm around someone who is just like so brilliant and bold. Like, some people just feel vibrant all the time and they really send that light out to you, which is helpful when you're feeling sad.
Yeah.
And you know to go to those people sometimes and you're like, you know what I need right now is that person who's like a ball of energy all of the time. But yeah, you have the power to be that for yourself and for other people, which is pretty awesome.
It is. And if there's someone specific in your life that you think of as that like really positive, radiant person, go send them a positive note today or something. Tell them you appreciate them. And then you'll bring that energy back to you.
Right.
Doing that.
Because
you're sending that
they
energy
deserve
back.
to receive as well. Right?
Yeah, because they're giving that all the time.
Yeah. As much as we give, we also receive.
Yes.
Which is a thing I like to remind myself of all the time. So, cool. That's everyone. That's everything.
That's all of the things.
For this month. Yeah, we'll see you again in September.